نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So inshallah we are continuing with our Arabic grammar lessons, and previously we were discussing mabni words which do not change when their word governance changes. So they have a fixed structure, and we discussed 8 types of them, and the last one we discussed were the dhuruf al-mabniya. They were words related to time and place, and they were such that they did not change their vowels. And now what we're going to go over are nouns, rules related to nouns which we may have not fully discussed yet. So essentially the chapter and discussion on nouns and their cases have been completed, but now we're just going to go over some details which may have not been discussed, you might have had questions regarding, and we'll start that today inshallah. So the first type of rule that we are going to go through are ta'rif and tankir. So this is regarding definite nouns and indefinite nouns. So when a noun is definite, we could call it ma'rifa. Ta'rif is the root noun, which means to make something definite. And ma'rifa is the word which is used to call a noun definite. And there are 6 types. They are mentioned here. And just to explain in another way, ma'rifa words are those nouns which have been created or for a fixed or specific person or thing. So you can say ismun wudi'a li shay'in mu'ayyanin. So it's a noun which is used for a specific thing. And a nakira noun, so an indefinite noun, is technically a noun which is used for a non-specific thing, something which is general or not specific. So we have mudmarat, which are pronouns like I, you, him, her, or we. So in Arabic, ana for I, nahnu for we, anta for you, or anti for you, feminine, huwa for he. Then we have proper nouns, or proper names, you could say al-a'lam. For example, Zaid, Abu Bakr, or Khalid. These are all nouns, they are specific. Then we have al-mubhamat, and these are basically vague nouns. So mubham means something which is ambiguous, vague. So these are nouns such as asma'ul isharat. So these are such as demonstrative nouns and relative nouns, like hadha, which is a demonstrative noun, and alladhi, mawsul, and hadha, a demonstrative noun, and mawsul, a relative noun. And we've gone over all of these types of nouns in the mabni section. Then we have nouns which have been made specific through alif lam. So it might be a word like rajul, and it's by itself it's not specific. But if we were to add alif lam before it and we say ar-rajul, and because it's of the type of letter ra is, the lam will become silent, and you'll join the alif straight to the ra and becomes ar-rajul, which means the man instead of a man, and it's been made specific using alif lam. Then you have any noun which or any word which has been made mudaf to one of the previous 4 types. So for example, if it's a pronoun, you could say ghulamuhu, his servant, or a proper noun ghulamu zaydin, so slave of the servant of Zayd, or ghulamu alladhi ja'a ila al-bayt, the servant of the one that came to the house, or ghulamu hadha rajul, the servant of this man. And ghulamur rajuli, so a rajul is made alif mu'arraf bil lam here, specific through alif lam, and ghulam is mudaf, and it's been made specific because it's attached or possessed towards a word which has alif lam on it. Then you have al-mu'arraf bin nida. So this is a noun which has been called with a vocative particle such as ya, haya, haya. Again, we discussed this in mansubat. We discussed munada, and we said how some words, sometimes when a word comes after a vocative noun, it'll be mansub, such as mudaf, when it's mudaf or shibu mudaf, similar to mudaf. But here what we're saying is when a word is being called through ya, then it becomes, in most cases, it becomes a ma'rifah, because I know who I'm calling. For example, I see some person walking to the street and I say, Ya Rajul. So this Rajul is specific because I know who I'm speaking to. This is different to the example which we discussed, where you'll be mansub as well, where there was where you call, where a blind man might be calling any random person for help. But this is when a normal person who can see is calling someone specific, Ya Rajul or Ay Rajul. Then there is a discussion about which one of these types is the most specific, but it's not really that relevant, for determining what vowel or what case or what grammatical influence the word will have in a sentence. So, moving on, the next type of noun which may not have been clarified properly before are numbers, a'dad. So these are words موضع يدل على كمية آحاد الأشياء. So these are words which are used to signify a quantity of units, a quantity, signify quantities and units of things. So one thing to take note of, this is when you see the number one, wahid, and you see the number two, ithnain, then their grammatical rules are according to normal conventions. So if you see the word wahid, then it will be with a masculine noun, and that masculine, and the number wahid will be in the masculine form. And if it's with the feminine word, then it will be feminine as well. So you'll say ihda, and for one, and ithna for two. So you say ithnani or ithna for masculine, and ithnatani and ithnataini for feminine words. However, moving from thalatha, which is 3, to asharatun, which is 10, then you will have the opposite to the common rule. So masculine nouns will now have feminine numbers, and feminine nouns will have masculine numbers. For example, thalathatu rijalin, so rijal is the plural of rajul, which means man. So to say 3 men, you'll say thalathatu rijalin instead of thalathu rijalin, which you would have thought to be the case. But instead, like we said, you do the opposite. So you'll say thalathu niswatin. So you'll say 3 women instead of thalathatu niswatin, right? And then based on these rules, you can sort of determine how you will recite or say words after 10, such as 11, 12, 13. So as we said, the word number 1 and 2 will always be in accordance to the gender of the noun we were discussing. So ahada ashara rajulan, rajul means man. So you'll say ahada ashara, which means 11, and rajulan will be 11 men. And you'll note how ahada is masculine and ashara is also masculine. And the same for ithna ashara rajulan, 12 men. The number 2 and 10 to make 12 are both masculine, because rajulan is masculine. Whereas ihda asharata imra'atan, you'll note how ihda is feminine and asharata is feminine, and imra'atan are also feminine, which means 11 women, or ithnata asharata imra'atan, 12 women. However, we look at 13 and we note how the unit, which is thalatha, is feminine, and ashara is masculine, and rajulan is masculine. So the ashara part is the same as the tens. The part of the number which represents the tens is in line with the gender of the noun. So rajulan is masculine, so ashara will be masculine. However, thalatha, which is the unit, will be feminine based on the rule which we said before. And then we see this rule being applied as well when there's a feminine noun, imra'atan, which means woman. And you'll see thalatha is masculine and asharata is feminine. So you'd say thalatha asharata imra'atan. And this rule will apply up to 19. So you'll say تسعة عشر رجلا and تسع عشرة امرأة. And after this, as for the tens like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, you will say عشرون رجلا and عشرون امرأة. So بلا فرق إلى 90 رجلا. So there is no difference. So عشرون it is based on the masculine plural, but it is used for masculine and feminine when you are trying to describe a word with that number. So if the number is 20 or 30 or 40 and the word following it is masculine or feminine, regardless, the number will be in this form, like 20 or 30, 40, 50, up to 90, which means 90. And how about if it's a number between 20 and 30, like 21, 22? So you'll say for when with 1 and 2, you will keep the number in line with the noun. So you'll say واحد وعشرون رجلا. So you add a wow in between 20. So in 20 in English you just say 21. You don't say 20 and 1. But in Arabic you'll say 1 first, and then you'll say the tens. So you say the unit first, which is wahid 1. So you're saying 1 and 20. So it's basically you're saying 1 plus 20 men. So which this means 21 men. So in Arabic you'll add a wow in between the unit and the tens. So you say واحد وعشرون رجلا. So واحد is masculine because رجلا is masculine. It's feminine إحدى عشرون امرأة. So ishruna, like we said, it doesn't change, but ihda is feminine because of imra'atan, and this is the case up to 29. So you'll say, or 99 even. So you could say تسعة وتسعون رجلا, and you'll say, um, so you know here. So after ihda, after 2, which would have been the same as the noun, it would have been إثنى عشر اثنان وعشرون رجلا or اثنتان وعشرون امرأة. When it comes to the words after that, like ثلاثة, it would be ثلاثة وعشرون رجلا. ثلاثة وعشرون رجلا. And so you know here it says تسعة وتسعون رجلا, 99 men. And for feminine it will be تسع وتسعون رجلا, right? So it will be 99 women. So the units are the opposite of the noun, the gender of the noun, or after the number 3 up to 9. So here is just the same thing, and so what we've just discussed. But now it's discussing the number 100. So mi'ah just means 100. So you'll notice how before أحد وعشرون رجلا, it was a tamyiz kind of structure, where rajulan was the tamyiz of أحد وعشرون. It clarified what the amount was referring to, the number was referring to exactly. Because if I just say the number 20, then you'd expect me to clarify 20 what, and in that case, and before we're saying 20 men or 20 women. And now we're discussing the word 100, and we note how we say mi'atu rajulin. This is a mudaf ilay structure, because mi'atu doesn't have a tanween, and the word after rajulin is majroor. And this is the same with alf. You say alfu rajulin or alfu imra'atin, and then to say 200, you say mi'ata rajulin or mi'ata imra'atin. It doesn't change in terms of gender. You say alfa rajulin and alfa imra'atin. And you'll notice how you don't say alfani or mi'atani because it's mudaf and the noon drops. So you don't distinguish between masculine and feminine here. But if you if you go over 1,000 and 100, then like we said, like you just use the rules which we've already discussed. Like we said, 99 men or 99 women, where between 3 to 9, the gender of the numbers of the units of the numbers will differ to the noun, the tamyiz. Whereas if it's 1 and 2, it will be the same. And in terms of the ordering, تقدم الألف على المئة والآحاد على العشرات. So the number 1,000 will come before 100. So you say ألف ومئة. So ألف ومئة you'll say, right? you'd say indi alfun wa mi'atun. I have 1,100. Right? Wa wahidun wa ishruna rajulan. So that means I have 1,121 men with me. So so the structure is that you have the thousands before the hundreds, and you have the units before the tens. And you say, so another example, alfani wa thalath mi'ati wathnani wa ishruna rajulan. So that's 2,322 men. Alfani, which means 2,000, thalathu mi'atin, which means 300, so that's 2,300, and ithnani wa ishrun just means 22 men. Or you could say arba'atu alafin, so wa sab'mi'atin, so 4,700, wa khamsatu arba'un, and 45 men. And you use these rules to guide your counting. So just some further rules about the numbers. The numbers 1 and 2 are different to the rest because the words they are with indicate the amount of things there are anyway. So in Arabic there are single and dual words. The rest of the words will be mumayyiz. So when you have the number, when you have a noun like rajulun, it means one man anyway. And if you have a noun which says rajulani, it means two men anyway. So these words, they don't need to come with numbers in Arabic because the noun itself implies how much or the number of things there are. So the word numbers 1 and 2 do not have a mumayyiz. They don't have any mumayyiz. The rest of the numbers, rest of the words, if they come with a number after 1 and 2, they will need a mumayyiz. They will need the number to appear. So I can't just say 3 men. I can't just say rijalun, which is the plural of man. So it means men. But this doesn't indicate how much men there are. So it can be a tamyiz rijal, but then it needs the mumayyiz. It needs the number present to show how much men there are, unless I'm just being generic or general. So the mumayyiz of 3 to 10 will be majroor, or the tamyiz, if you will. So the number 3 after it will be based upon whatever is before it to determine its grammatical case, but the word after it will be as though it's mudaf ilay. So it will be makhfud, majroor, and it will be single, and it will be plural. So you'll say thalathatu rijalin. So rajulun is the singular and rijal is the plural. And up to ashara, you'll say asharatu rijalin, 10 men. However, the word mi'ah, which means 100, is different because the word that follows it will still be majroor, but it will be singular. And then you have the mumayyiz from 11 to 99. So like أحد عشر رجلا, we saw أحد عشر رجلا, we saw, and that's because it will be treated as a tamyiz. أحد عشر رجلا إحدى عشرة امرأة, he said. And the mumayyiz of 100 and 1,000 and the dual and plural forms of them, like mi'ata, mi'atun and mi'ata, mi'atani or mi'ata, and alfun and alfani or alfa, no, alaf, will be majroor and mahfud. You don't use the plural form of mi'ah. You don't say mi'at. You just say mi'atun, thalathu mi'atun, thalathu mi'atin. You won't say thalathatu mi'atin. And that's all. That's it for numbers. If you have any questions about that, please ask in the comments. And I hope this was helpful, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.